Nothing.
Nothing. I say just let the video play. Guys, it's been a rough week for us. The Sheik is gone, Herm is pissed, Trump is fucked, and Lynch has questions. Welcome to Dysfunction Junction.
That's weird. That's weird. Fuck yeah. It's been a rough week.
I'm Chris Burns. With me, as always, is Andrew the Giant himself.
Hold on. Let me get this out of here.
All right. We'll try it again after if we get some sound.
We're gonna go with the other. We're
All
gonna
right,
pull
go with
this,
the
and
other.
we're just gonna go. We're gonna do the 10 count.
For those of you on audio only, please bear with us.
Yep.
Well, you guys have just seen Wednesday morning after we recorded last week's show, we lost the Iron Sheik, who was a bit. We were all a big fan of Sheiky Baby here, and we even have a soundbite that we use here on the show. And a month or two ago, on April 21st, our show, we'd gone over his A&E biography.
Documentary.
Yep, the second documentary that's ever been made on him, and at that point, we sang his praises, and we still do, even though he's gone. However, wow, what a punch in the gut. I got a text message from Jordan from the Speedway Review. More on the Speedway Review later. And I immediately went to the Google machine and found out that a couple of different outlets had reported it, but none that I'd consider reputable.
Yeah,
so I texted the guys.
The same.
Yeah, I texted the guys. I'm like, guys, here's the report. And Herm was like, dude, this better be a lie. Like, dude, I hope it is.
Another fucking hoax bullshit.
And
it wasn't. There was. I instantly went, and there was. It was insta confirmed. It was real. It was legit sources. So
we basically did his eulogy a month before he passed.
Almost. We did
a month.
We almost did his eulogy a month before he passed because, that was the show. The documentary came out.
April 21st was our episode.
Yeah. So like 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
Look at you with facts and data.
Ooh.
We all do our best.
Speaking of facts and data.
Yes.
Congratulations, first of all, to the Denver Nuggets for winning their first fucking NBA title in 47 years in the entire history of their
franchise. Yeah.
Also, interesting. Don't remember where I saw it, but it was on one of the news channels. 62%. Where'd he go? There he is. In a recent study, a poll, however you want to call it, 62% of Americans are pro keeping student athletes and trans athletes in whatever category goes with their born biological sex.
Good.
62%. So, that's if we took the vote, it would pass. We'd win. But because it's a half plus, and there it is, plus the required amount. I think 63 is the actual number required. Is the percentage, isn't it? It's like a D- that's required.
63 or 66.
Right. Maybe it's 2/3, but still.
It is.
But still, you're going to have a lot of percentages, people that won't that won't say it, but would vote that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what else? Also, Illinois has passed a law making it illegal to ban books within the public library system.
Wow.
Interesting.
It's a public library. It's public funds. I totally agree with this. It doesn't make
library, yes.
It's public. The law does not affect or have anything to do with educational and curriculum systems. It's only all the systems can do what they want as within their small towns or however they want to handle it. If they can get a big legal structure going for, like Florida's got a bunch of lists of banned books that they can't use in the system. I'm not judging the books. I haven't read them. I don't know them. I just know that there are books. Some of them are classics. But this doesn't have anything to do with the school system. I think it's a good step forward. The schools can do what they want, and the public libraries have the information available. And I think you still have the ability to get both sides of a subject. You just might not be able to get it at school. You can still go to the library and check that book out. So I think, you know what I mean? I agree with that. That's the whole free speech thing. I believe sometimes in a curriculum you can tailor things. A lot of people would tell me that that's Nazism, but Nazism actually banned the book outright. You couldn't own it, speak of it, talk about it, read it aloud. It wasn't allowed to be anywhere. It was not allowed. So,
Verboten.
Look, I'm not saying that there isn't censorship, but there is censorship. It's all over the place, and this is kind of a balance. So, good for the system.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. I mean, because if you look at the list of banned books that are currently on most lists, it's Fahrenheit 451, Catcher in the Rye,
Grapes of Wrath, of Mice and Men.
Yeah, because
these are all books that all of us read in high school. Half of that list was our required reading. Burns, you went to the same fucking high school I did. You know what I mean? Like, that's half of that list is our required reading shit when we were
basically
kids.
But the difference between this generation and our generation is we knew how to read those books and see them for the time that they were published, whereas now everybody wants
that's how Mr. Hall, we have to remember what time this is, when this is.
Correct. And the irony for me, most importantly, is that, people today are looking at people from the 1600s or the 1800s or even the early 1900s through 2023 lenses. And that is just something you can not do.
You can't.
Because it's unfair. Because we can just take slavery. Slavery existed for thousands of years before it hit these shores, okay? And if we want to get technical, just for the Ryan Murches out there, the Native Americans, sorry, I don't want to offend, Hoobie Booby over here, but the Native Americans were enslaving their enemies when they were conquered. So don't tell me, with all this virtue signaling, it all started with the white Europeans coming over here and yada, yada, fucking yada, eat shit through my asshole, not from it. I'm going to put your mouth right at the hole and allow you to eat shit. What I'm going to say is these books were seminal in creating my love for reading. Okay, and even though I've shied away from the fiction world and I stick to, either political science or biographies, whether they're autobiographies or written by somebody else, some of those books that you mentioned, are we doing ASMR?
No, I'm just getting weed.
I'm just being an asshole.
That nigga's being an asshole eating chips.
Well, what else is new?
Well, if I can go back to you can finish your point, Chris, if you have a little bit more to go.
Just another sentence or two. Those books helped create my love for reading, and I want them to create a love for reading for others. Because look, To Kill a Mockingbird, Don't even worry about it. It's a symphony of disparsion. We don't worry about that this week. You guys know what it is. You know, to read the story of Atticus Finch and how he tried to, bring this lawsuit forward and yada, 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 and the Boo Radley and all of that, it just fed something in me. It's like, I want to see what's on the next page. I want to see how this turns out. We have a couple comments in the queue. Zach says, ironic, they banned the book about burning books. Well, that's a problem with this country is people want to do things and not stand accountable. So if you burn the book or ban the book, as it were, they don't have to stand accountable and say why. They just have to, just say this needs to be banned, and it's out the door. As far as some of these books that we've talked about before, and sorry, Lynch, Zach got me fired up. When you talk about having a book like Gender Queer in a third grade library, absolutely not. When you talk about having books that aren't appropriate for kids of a certain age, that's not banning a book. I want people to understand that. That is just making sure that if you're age appropriate, you can and have an opportunity to read this particular book. But some of the books that Herm rattled off, and we could go Fahrenheit 451, we could go deeper. I did a book report on fucking Mein Kampf, for Christ's sakes, in 11th grade. Mrs. Gardner, if Herm remembers Mrs. Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
Rotten bitch. And, she questioned my choice. I said, look, I really want to read this. I want to get the perspective. And when I got it, I wrote the report, and I kind of at the end of it said, while I understand what Adolf Hitler was trying to say, I don't agree with any of it. That was my synopsis at the end. But when I hear the term banned book, you have to temper that with who you're hearing it from. Are you hearing it from some crazy leftist or some retarded right-winger? Or are you hearing it from a reliable source that says we're banning this book and this is why? Chances are you're not hearing that last part. You're hearing the first two. Please continue, Lynch.
And that goes... You just reinforced my point, is that on the list of those banned books, To Kill a Mockingbird, et cetera, so on and so forth, we can ban these books because they're not good for the kids. They can't read about diversity, which is what Huck Finn is all about, is loving your fucking neighbor and treating him as an equal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay to have a book in elementary school level libraries about gay oral sex. Where is that right?
It's not. Okay,
so you get the extreme left saying, well, this is called diversity and inclusion and all this other thing. No, it's not. It's sticking a book in front of a kid that at a certain age in their life, they don't need that right now. That's again, we always say this again and again. That's up to the parent. That's the parent's discretion to have that discussion with your child.
There's a reason
and
why. Go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
A lot about what we're talking about right now is going to lead into my part of the show. It's a doozy. It really is, and my mind was pretty blown. Well, when I heard what I heard.
There's a reason why Herm is a parent, myself is a parent, or even Lynch, who has...
Yeah, because we fucked somebody.
Well,
I thought. I'm sorry.
Listen to you. We'll get to Sheiky Baby in just a moment.
We're in the advanced class, Mike.
There's a reason why, as a parent, hey, I want to watch Friday the 13th, whatever. No, you're 8. Or, we make those decisions, and we can understand when and if you are emotionally prepared based on our views to do that. Now, if I leave my kid with a babysitter and I go out and have a good time, yes, I've left that child under the auspices of somebody else, and if they choose, well, I don't have to agree with it, but you chose, I left you in charge. Doesn't mean I have to do it. It's much like my favorite thing before I had a kid was being an uncle. And Herm will tell you this because I did it more than once. Take them, watch them, sugar them up, send them home.
Yep. Spin them up, send them out.
Watch them bounce off the walls for the next 3 hours because I don't have to be there.
Yep. Because I'm the fun uncle.
Yep.
on the
Right.
focal.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit more going forward. We got a couple things we got to get to tonight. And once again, we're off the rails. For those of you still watching and not hating
There
us,
isn't much. The rails are real small tonight. That's
clearly.
you know what I mean. The rails are very small tonight. It's
Jordan says, "What up, peeps? Herm, make us proud tomorrow night." You don't have to worry about that
do not
for
even
1
worry.
minute.
We're good.
Jordan's going to join us for a short spell tomorrow night. He'll be at work, so
Excellent.
I'm not quite sure how much input he's going to have. Tori will be there, obviously. Corey will not be, but we got Herm, we got Joey Turnullo, Connecticut Modified Racing Star. What more do we need? We'll find out.
I think we're going to find out. You know, I think
Absolutely.
we're going to see what happens. Yes.
So,
yes.
I want to start with, first of all, before we get back into Sheik, because there's a lot I'm sure we all want to say. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. You've already said it. I'm extremely proud, not because I'm a Nuggets fan, but because Herm pointed this out, and I've been scouring the news all day. Not one riot, not one overturned car.
There were a couple of shootings, but they were isolated. They were isolated incidents at a specific location. They weren't like citywide. There was one location where a couple of people got shot, 2 or 3, and then another location where like one person got shot, and it was out of and it was over. Both cases were over, the game, but again, not. Denver is still there. Everybody got up and went to work this morning. Everything.
There weren't big fires. There wasn't, tearing down of buildings.
Nobody ripped down a bus stop or
I
fucking
think
light pole.
I think going forward, the city limits of Denver should have the following sign, and it reads like this: "Welcome to Denver. We're not Philadelphia."
For real.
Or Boston.
Oh yeah, Boston was pretty bad. Not the first Red Sox World Series. Yeah, they were I think they were just more in shock.
Yeah, I think well, that's Boston. They're just really drunk and they're loud and obnoxious. Nobody's trying to like hurt each other. It just kind of happens that way. But yeah, Philly just like deliberately set shit on fire and flips cars and rips down like billboards. What the fuck?
We won the championship. Let's
wreck our city. Fuck. We won the war, sir. Wreck the city.
Right?
Burn it to the ground.
We're going to do what they thought they could do.
Yeah, just
fucking phenomenal.
You know what? We're going to show them how to wreck a fucking city. I don't understand it. It's just bad. Bad.
I mean, like
Buffalo fans, they just kind of like wreck tables, like Sabu style. So I'm okay with that. but yeah, it was really nice not waking up to like, and 73 people were arrested at a riot downtown.
Norwich is wiped off the map.
Right? Thank God we don't have anything remotely close to a professional team.
No.
Anyway.
You've got like 75 A ball. That's what you have.
Yeah, pretty much.
You have double, triple, 75A. There it is.
The lowest A ball that there is.
Yeah, it's just called low ball, and it's just...
Well, I'm going to give
They don't even spell it with a W. It's just an LO. Just
right?
low ball.
Yeah,
one word.
Bottom shelf.
I'm going to give you guys the particulars on our boy Sheiky Baby. And then we can pretty much recite all the rest of it verbatim. Let's give it up to him. Hossein Khosrow Ali Vaziri was born on March 15th, 1942. He died on June 7th, which is my grandmother's birthday. God rest her soul. 2023. Amen. He was better known by his ring name, the Iron Sheik. He was an Iranian-American professional wrestler, amateur wrestler, coach, and actor. He was the first and thus far only Iranian champion in WWE history, having won the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in 1983. Trivia question, who'd he beat?
Fuck.
Sheiky beat, fuck.
You can do it. Starts with a B. Ends with a B. Not really, but
Bobby the Brain?
Bob.
you got your No, not Bobby the Brain. You're halfway there.
No, he took it from Backlund, didn't he?
Bob Backlund. That is correct.
Yeah.
And
Also,
he's still
not just an amateur wrestling coach. He was actually the assistant coach on the on 2 U.S. Olympic teams.
And was a 4-time AAU champion.
He was also the personal bodyguard to the Shah of Iran. That's how badass he was with his hands. He was the personal bodyguard to the Shah.
Mm-hmm. For 90% of his career, and I'm lowballing because he only did 2 years as a babyface, he was one of the most feared and hated villains in all of professional wrestling. Zach came in just a little late with the Bob Backlund. Good job on Zach. Let's see. What else is there there's so much we already talked about, but on a personal level, and I think that's where we want to go tonight. Go back and listen to the show on April 21st and hear all the accolades.
I'm sure all of us are going to miss his tweets.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to miss him now is his fucking tweets. Like, because he just says some insane shit, but he's funny as fuck.
Yeah. He's a man that lived with no filter and never had a filter, and that's what made him so great. Because he fuck political correctness, fuck your feelings, the Sheiky baby, make you humble.
The way it should be.
Yes.
Like I sent one of my favorite clips of all time, and I'll share it on our page so you guys can all see it, was an interview he did out of Boston with a guy named Dan Maloney. And he's talking about WrestleMania 3. And he's talking about how much he loved working with Hacksaw and Jim Brunzell and Nikolai Volkov, and he got to Brian Blair and lost his ever-loving shit. I win. If you give me Brian Blair right now, he's a pedophile. He's this. I will put him in the camel clutch, break his back, fuck his ass, and make him humble. And that, to this day, every time when somebody says, I'll make you humble, I just have to laugh. Like, what, you're going to fuck me in the ass?
Yeah.
Is that what this is about? You wanna violate me?
I heard a funny story about Sheik today. A caller called into the Howard Stern show because...
I was going to ask you if Stern had talked about this.
He did a little bit. And a caller called Howard and said he had an interaction with him, a handful of years ago. He was in a hotel, and the guy walks up and says, "Iron Sheik, you're the greatest." And Sheik goes, "You want picture?" Whips an 8.5 by 11 out, signs his name to it, hands it to him, and goes, $5. The guy gives him The guy gives him a 10, and only gives him $3 change.
That's Sheik. Go ahead, Herm. You got the clip.
You are a punk little gay, worse than Michael Jackson. That was a great feeling. I have a lot of respect for them.
Yeah, he didn't hold back.
You lucky punk. I didn't break your back to fuck your ass, make you humble.
How much cocaine do you think you could do in a day?
All of it.
All of it.
If you've seen the documentary,
like a camel's hump, right? Camel's hump of cocaine.
We talked about it on when we reviewed the A&E biography about the one that you can find on Amazon Prime right now. It's for free.
Yep,
it's just
free.
simply called The Sheik. And his drug use was astronomical. The story that many people love is right after WrestleMania 3 when he got popped for cocaine. And he's in the locker room, and Coco Beware's on one side, Nikolai's on the other side, and I think Bret Hart was in the corner. And Vince McMahon comes in and says, "Sheik?" And he's like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've got some news for you." Okay. You tested positive for cocaine.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sheik
always positive.
And he didn't understand what that meant in the American sports vernacular.
No.
You don't understand,
good.
Sheiky baby. That's not good.
You got the cocaine.
Yeah, right.
You could kickstart somebody's heart by injecting a vial of blood right into somebody.
And it's also, depending on who you listen to, if you read a lot of these dirt sheet writers, Sheik and Hacksaw were the ones that almost killed the wrestling business back in 1987.
Yes, well, that was they're in the feud.
With Doug, it was Duggan and Sheik.
Yep, and they both got pulled over with coke in the car, and they're supposed to be mortal enemies. They're fighting in like 3 hours, and in the middle of this hating feud, and here they are pulled over on the side of the road,
Drinking beer and doing blow.
getting busted in the same car on the highway for all the world to fucking see.
And you know the news isn't going to play along with the wrestling vernacular. This isn't Dallas, Texas, where, the press would suppress anything that had to do with the Von Erich boys. This is national news. WWF was like the biggest thing, and still is the biggest thing going. So if you get two blood enemies in quotes,
Right,
in a car, busted on the New Jersey fucking freeway with coke and beer and weed and everything else in 1987, and you're supposed to be fighting in Asbury Park in 3 hours, that almost blew the lid off of everything.
That was
it almost
1987.
It almost wrecked it. It almost wrecked the entire wrestling world.
And then they spun it because I remember there was an article in one of the sports magazines who tried to blow the lid off, and they interviewed Sheik. And he says, I couldn't get a rental car. I didn't have my credit card, and I saw Hacksaw, and I said, I understand. You don't like me. I don't like you. Can I ride with you? Oh, they spun that like a motherfucker in 1987, and it was genius. Genius on McMahon's part. Genius on Sheik and Duggan's part. They played the role.
Absolutely.
I never met Sheik, really. I got his autograph one time in the airport in Hartford. He was playing the role. He was in character. So, you walk up with your little brother and like, oh, Mr. Sheik, can I have an autograph? Okay, what is your name? Okay, my name's Chris. Chris, and what is your name? Matt. Okay, here is your autograph. Now get out of here, you American scumbucket little children. Some of the things he said, like messing up Mean Gene Okerlund's name on purpose, just for the smile. Gene Mean.
Yeah.
What was it? The cameraman zoom lens, and he would flex. I always was entertained by the Sheik. I never hated the Sheik like all my other friends did. I got a kick out of the Sheik.
I did too.
He was always that source of entertainment when all the other wrestling was just kind of boring. There was nothing boring about that man.
No. The curly boots.
The curled boots.
Where he'd slam his toe against the ground. He's loading it up. He's got something in there.
Yeah, there's nothing
in there. As kids, you ate that shit up.
Yeah, you did. Oh man,
he's loading that boot again.
The boots all charged up. Oh shit. Yeah.
Bring on the boot.
Yeah, it was great shit, and he capitalized on the whole Iran, Russia, late 80s, early 90s world terror thing, and made a great career out of it. The handlebar mustache, yes.
He played that role to the hilt, but as everybody over the years has talked about, from the moment he came to America, he loved this country. He loved the opportunity.
That was literally just a role. He loved this country.
He met his wife here. He, made a career and a living and a drug habit here. I had to throw that part in.
Yeah.
He became an icon between these shores, and I dare say, you can try as you might. There's never going to be another heel that could elicit that kind of response from a crowd than the Iron Sheik.
No,
because he was universally hated among most wrestling fans.
Yep, and if you were a kid,
there's boo,
and if you were a kid when those wrestling action figures came out, there were 5 choices: Jimmy Snuka, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, Hulk Hogan and the Iron Sheik.
And
So
the Iron Sheik.
if you got a Hulk Hogan action figure for Christmas, he's got to fight somebody. Chances are your mom and dad bought the Iron Sheik.
Yep. Everybody knew he was a bad guy.
And
he was the original Razor Ramon.
Oh, yeah. And he was the bridge between the wrestling. They tried to promote pro wrestling as a sport, and that ended the night Sheik beat Bob Backlund. And then a month later, when Sheik lost to Hulk Hogan, that era, at least in the Northeast and then worldwide, because McMahon took it national and then international, that was gone. That was gone. And now we got trampoline hopping, flippy flop, Kenny Omega and his two little bitches on the side in AEW. If you watch AEW, just don't watch this show anymore. We don't want you.
I checked out a couple of shows.
I'm sorry to hear that. It was good for like the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was. It's not bad, and that's kind of where I watched it right in the beginning.
Yep.
That I haven't really watched anything, but their commercials are pretty good. But that's about it.
It's an outlaw mode show. Round the horn. We'll start with Herm since he's firing off at the bit. Give me what you got on Sheiky. Your final thoughts. Your send off.
He's always my favorite bad guy. You know what I mean? Like he was always my favorite villain in that whole thing. I always thought he was just I just liked him. He didn't give a fuck. And his character kind of came through that way, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. He was my favorite bad guy.
I can say the same thing because I loved him as a kid, and then I even started to love him even more after he was done wrestling with his Howard Stern appearances. Always outrageous, always outlandish. He'd show up high as a kite, busting out weed, trying to smoke a joint. Going into the dressing room, sniffing coke. I need cocktail. I need my whiskey. Where's my whiskey? You know that he's still in character, but it's more of what his real personality is.
Oh yeah.
There's a little familial connection to wrestling on my wife's side. My wife's uncle and Jesse Ventura were in Bud's school, Bud's training together.
No shit.
So when wrestling was really big in Connecticut, those kids were introduced to Sergeant Slaughter, guys of that era, and my wife's uncle was good friends with Sergeant Slaughter. And in passing, I guess he met Iron Sheik and said he was one of the nicest, respectful people you'd ever want to meet when he's not high as a kite.
Nice.
Yeah, he was just
very nice.
I mean, he said just looking at him, being in the same room with him, was intimidating. It's like you could say the same about Andre the Giant. The guy's fucking massive. Iron Sheik was not a small dude.
No, 6'2", 6'3", about 270 at his peak when he was jacked to the gills.
Yeah, he's a big motherfucker, and he was an athlete. I mean,
he's what they call a shooter. If he wanted to break your leg, he could tell you 3 different ways he was going to do it, and do it the 4th way.
Yeah, his athleticism showed in his wrestling as well, because he grew up wrestling as a sport, and then by the way, I'm really good at this, so fuck it, I'll sign up for the WWF.
But he got trained. He got trained at one of the toughest camps there was, and that was Vern Gagne's camp.
I was going to say he Vern Gagne'd it, man. Like he went to
Vern Gagne put out there.
He went to hell.
Iron Sheik, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Jesse Ventura. I'm trying to think of some of the other guys. Vader was part of that camp.
Yeah.
Not that particular camp in 72, 73, but
right.
He pushed out some, Vern pushed out some huge stars.
Vern made some big wrestlers.
I want to look that up. I want to see if I can get a list before we move on to why Herm's pissed this week, and then we'll talk about Trump and Lynch. Vern Gagne, let's spell that right. Trainees. Here we go. Let's see.
Yeah.
Here's the top 20 wrestlers, according to the Sportster, that Vern Gagne trained. Number 20, Brad Rheingans. He was an Olympian. Didn't really go too far in the wrestling world. the pro wrestling world. Greg Gagne,
Right.
his son, of course. Blackjack Lanza, who was a big-time guy back in the day. Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, who we mentioned. Wild Bill Irwin, who later on in the 90s became the hockey-playing goon in WWE. Sergeant Slaughter, who we just mentioned, was trained by Vern Gagne. Larry the Axe Hennig, father of Mr. Perfect.
Yep.
Playboy Buddy Rose trained with Vern Gagne.
Oh, very nice.
The master of the club, Baron von Raschke.
Nice.
The Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. Former Olympian, Ken Patera, who was a
nice.
badass back in the day, till he threw a rock at a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Scott Norton,
Dumbass.
who was a big-time wrestler in Japan, did a stint with the NWO. Blackjack Mulligan, father of Barry Windham, was trained by Vern Gagne.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Couple more. Why is this slowing down on me? Now I'm getting an AEW ad. Fuck AEW.
See? They're listening.
They're infiltrating.
They're
always
listening.
listening.
They're listening, bitch. They're listening.
AEW always positive.
1984, Big Brother's watching.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But yeah, I could run this list 100 different ways, and you're just gonna go, God damn. You know, now my phone doesn't want to work. Fuck this. Anyway, he was a character. He was more than a character. He was culture, counterculture, if you will. In that video that we tried to show, and if we could try it again, I don't know. That's up to Herm. But Cyndi Lauper had glowing things to say about working with Sheik during the making of the Goonies music video. Who was trained by Vern Gagne? Let's see. Oh, you know who we forgot? Bob Backlund was trained by Vern Gagne.
And Backlund's still in there.
Backlund is still in there. Ric Flair, Greg Gagne, Buddy Rose, Blackjack Mulligan, Larry Hennig, we said, Jim Brunzell, Scott Norton, Blackjack Lanza. Oh, my Lord. Just a who's who. Nick Bockwinkel, former AWA World Heavyweight Champion. Dusty Rhodes trained with him for a while. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, trained with Vern Gagne. So Vern Gagne didn't push out junk.
No.
And just, wow, yeah. I don't even know what to say. I've been trying. I was thinking for a week. What do you say in a moment like this? You just don't. You just hope that Sheiky Baby is resting in peace. And let's see if this video will run this time with
See
sound.
if I can get it run.
Iran, weighing
You got anything?
258 pounds,
Yeah, we're good.
the Iron Sheik.
My name is Hossein Khosrow Vasiri. I born in 1942.
We had a gym business. Most famous sport in Persia at that time was freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman. And that was my hobby, and that was my number one major sport in the high school, wrestling. And I love wrestling.
I've been in the army, a volunteer by myself. I was a good young security for the King family.
And then he ends up in Minnesota, of all places, and starts coaching the United States Olympic team.
And he wears a singlet with Olympic rings on it because he had been an assistant coach on the U.S. Olympic team. So essentially, he starts his career as an All-American.
Older is better. Older is wiser. Is that correct?
Exactly, Jim.
Thank you very much, men, intelligent American in Miami.
This Wednesday.
This Wednesday, whatever.
Cameraman, zoom.
In 1968 in Mexico City, I happened to be covering the games for NBC television, and it was at that time that I met this tremendous gentleman. Later, as a matter of fact, I happened to be the best man in his wedding. He has a lovely family.
I met my husband at the University of Minnesota. He was coaching the United States Olympic wrestling team at the time when we met.
I love him very much, and he has made me everything that I will be today. And that I think he's the greatest father.
She met a guy that she had only known for about a month, and we did not know that he was a bad guy. And I think she was trying to break up with him the night it happened, and that's why he went crazy and he strangled her.
my young daughter Nikki come, tell me, Daddy, Marissa is dead.
It was very difficult for my father, having lost Marissa. Our father was always such a fighter and protector of his family and girls, and the fact that somebody took his daughter away from him was very difficult.
I love you, baby. Rest in peace. I miss you.
The first time I met the Sheik, I was 8, 9 years old. We were in Charlotte, North Carolina. My dad was wrestling with Sheik.
Uncle Sheiky would come over to the house and his wife would babysit me. So God bless that woman, his wife Carol. Thank you, Carol, for putting up with all my shit.
His impact on my career has really been, a lot of people think, oh, jabroni, oh yeah, it's a Rock's word. No. It's not my word. It's the Iron Sheik's word. I give the Iron Sheik all the credit in the world for the word jabroni.
Oh, you know it, jabroni. I'm gonna let you know, Baba. Iran, #1. The Sheik, #1.
In the case of Hulkamania, not only was the Iron Sheik an integral part of that, it couldn't have happened without the Iron Sheik.
Without Iron Sheik, no Hulkamania. I'm making be the most famous babyface in the earth.
So fucking true.
If you lock me, fine. But if you don't lock me, I suppress you. I put you in camouflage. I'll break your back. I'll make you hungry.
I know the Sheik. The Sheik was in a video with me, and I had the opportunity to work very closely with this man, and he is a good man, he's a family man, and he's a very hard worker.
Thank you, Iron Sheik, for the memories. You are a legend. You will be missed, but never forgotten.
I'm very proud of my dad. I think he's one of the most amazing people in the world, and he's accomplished so much, and he's always there for his family, and he's a great, great person.
Research shows people remember ads with a catchy
Hey,
song.
Liberty
So to help you
Mutual.
remember that
Yeah,
Liberty Mutual
Liberty.
customizes
Yeah,
your
we're
home
good.
insurance. Here's
You
the little
only pay
number
for what
you'll
you
never
need.
forget.
So, yeah, with that, I don't have anything else. Rest in peace, Sheik. You were the
Rest
best.
in peace, baby. Rest in
Cameraman, zoom it. Fuck yeah. All right, so we may or may not have music this week, but Herm definitely has an asshole of the week, or as we kind of deemed it, the cunt of the month.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm not sure how you want to work this, Hermie baby.
Let's see. We'll do. Let's
break
do
their
this.
back and make them humble.
That's right.
Make the
that's
Sheik
right.
proud.
That's right. That's
Fuck
right.
you in the ass and make you humble.
Wow.
If only it had gone that way, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Wow. And we wouldn't be here now. You know, we wouldn't have to deal with that.
With the asshole of the week.
Sheik always positive.
How does it feel to be a real asshole?
Sorry, Lynch. All right. So here's the story.
Of a man named Brady.
Of a lovely lady.
There's a story. It's a girl.
Okay.
I have a son who's having a child with this person. A lot of the friends and a lot of the family have yet to meet this girl, this woman. I'll call her a woman. I'll say it.
What is a woman?
She's having a baby, so I'm going to say that's one.
Absolutely. I would put that right up there.
Scrolling through, and there is a post online on Facebook by this woman, and who a lot of us hasn't met. I haven't met. I don't know if his mother has met her or not.
I think she has.
Okay, but there's a lot of friends or whatever that this is included under the umbrella of this, and that haven't met her. And I feel it was a little cringy and a little bit over the top. And while I understand the sentiment, I'm not sure this is how one should approach it. And I welcome anybody to tell me I'm wrong and explain why I'm wrong.
JunctionDysfunctionShow@gmail.com. Or just
Yeah,
call
I mean,
her
if you're not
directly.
just or call me directly. So let's see. Let's get bigger. Okay, there we are. So here's the post that was made. I'm not going to give the girl's name. I got more class than that. But here is the post. As I get fatter and hairier and more pissy, ... My requests for my daughter's adventure into the world, are rather simple. Please do not, in capital letters, welcome yourself to our hospital room. I don't care how you're related to me, her, or her father. If you show up without permission, you'll be asked to leave. Be mad. We can talk about it at a different time. If you're told no to come for a visit, that's what it is. Don't get upset because I don't care, to be honest, and I may want time for my newly created family. That's not for anybody else to decide. Keep your pictures to yourself. Should you take any, do not post them on any social media or send them to anybody before myself or her father choose to do so, for she isn't yours to show. Well, once you send me the picture, it's mine, fucker. I'm not sure if you know how property laws work, but it's mine. I'm not going to do anything to it. I mean, first of all, to answer the first part, I don't know what kind of classless trailer park you grew up in, but people normally call the hospital when there's a birth to do that anyway.
Set up a time. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, how you feeling? Just so you know.
For a visit?
Keep your face and lips away from our daughter's face. Again, I don't care your relation, and you don't need to kiss or breathe on our child. And, in capital letters, which is yelling, wash your fucking hands. Am I wrong in saying that her approach is extremely fucked up? And that is an extremely offensive way to say that, listen, we've been talking, and we've got a few rules for when the baby comes. Please make sure you call and schedule and check before you come. All right. So the other thing is, so I can't drop in and do a surprise visit because I can't spend $1,000 to go out there just to be told no because someone's pissy and in a bad mood. So, all right. So that saved me that trip. That's easy. Are people going to hold the baby? Because are people holding the baby? Because she said keep your mouth and don't breathe on. Because are people holding the baby? Because I don't know if she's ever held a baby or not, but we don't hold a baby like this. We hold the newborn baby where, gentlemen?
Nice
right
and
here. And we look at it, and we talk to it, and we look at its face, and we breathe on the motherfucking thing.
Well, you do hold it like this when you're passing it off to somebody to get the shitty diaper off of it.
Like, so what you're saying, so nobody can hold the baby. All right. But I understand the girl's pregnant, but you don't have to be so goddamn offensive.
I understand her message.
So do I. I totally understand her intent, and I don't have issue with her intent. It's the delivery.
I mean, I've run into situations not like this, but similar to this, where somebody's trying to get a point across and they come off like a real fucking asshole. You can say the same exact thing like you just did. Hey guys, quick update, baby's expected, blah blah blah.
Baby soon. Call before you ask.
If you want to drop by, please give us a heads up.
Call before you ask. We're going to ask everybody comes in and washes their hands when
mask up
when you come in or whatever, and nice. And also, and then I don't know about the pictures, but please try and be respectful with pictures if there is any. You know what I mean? Like you're dropping ultimatums like you in control of everybody, bitch. You're not even in the family. You carrying my genes. What's up?
And I came across that. As you
carrying my genes. What's up? You're not in the family. You what do you think? You just a grudge fuck that ended up in a fucking pregnancy. Let's be honest.
Oops. As you were sending that, I found that I was scrolling through my newsfeed and I found it and I read it and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, all right. Message received, but wholly rude. And I put myself in your shoes, being 1,000 miles away, on the other coast, almost. As a grandpa, I would be like, who the fuck are you to tell me I can't see my own blood.
Right, and like Zach says, the
Right, but the
approach
whole
has been
thing
a
is,
little smoother.
but the other thing is, the whole message is I, and then she just tagged. I feel she just tagged Trav to make sure everybody in his friends and family circle saw it that way too.
Yeah.
So she made sure, and then he was kind of I'm not gonna lie, he backed it up. He didn't step down. He was all, "I'll fight you." Well, I'm not sure if we want to go down that road, boy. Yeah. But that's not necessary to say either, as disrespectful as it is. Again, there's better ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, and like Zach said in the comments, the approach has been a little smoother. The only one of those things I may or may not agree with wholeheartedly from the top is number one. Call. If you're going to visit, call. That's just good manners all the way around.
Right, that's just normal. I felt
never
that.
shown up in a hospital room or on anybody's doorstep.
Unless I was called and said, "Yo, I'm at the hospital. I'm ready. Come see me. We're ready."
Bingo.
I've had that happen. You know what I mean? We're good. Come see us. All right.
The rest of it, and I said it to you privately, and I'll say it now publicly.
It's cringy.
It smacks of the Church of Self generation, where you will comply with what I think, when I think, how I think it, and I don't have to answer to you. Well,
it also doesn't matter how I say it.
But if the same were done in reverse, you'd be awfully pissed off.
Right. If I were to speak to her that way, don't you think somebody would be upset that I was speaking to his baby mama that way?
I don't care if it's you two. I don't care if it's my daughter. I don't care if it's one of my best friends. You don't get to speak to me in a way you shouldn't expect to be spoken back to. That'll be the day where someone ever again says to me, you can't speak to me that way. And I say, well, you kind of spoke to me that way, or in this manner, or you treated me like this. And the answer is, I'll do whatever I want. Well, guess what?
I just did too.
Bingo. So if you don't want to be respected, don't give respect, which is what sounds like here. In my world, and I'm speaking for me, when you give respect, you'll get respect. You don't get to hold anything over my head.
No, it's the start off point.
Like this, yeah.
You start off. It's kind of like the asshole in a restaurant that says, "This is your tip," and every time I'm going to take a single away. You start with it. You start with a certain. For most, it's a certain level of human respect.
I'm just going to look at the comment section. I'm going to point to you guys too: the Herms, the Lynches, the Zacks, the Jordans. John was in here earlier, although he's never put up a comment tonight. Hello, John, wherever you are. Matt Pistol was watching earlier. To all of you, I've given more than my fair share of respect. I expect it in return. And if you don't give it, guess what? 1-1. That's it. I'm done chasing people's respect because I've done way too much. And these two will tell you, like we spoke about last week, I've done far too much for far too long for a lot of people who deserve far less.
Yeah, that could be said. For certain situations. Absolutely.
Yes, but in this situation, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, Lynch, but in this situation, all this young lady has done is gotten pregnant. That's it.
All she's done is start off on the wrong foot by telling the grandfather of the child.
Well, not specifically me, but it's addressed to anybody, regardless of your relation or anything, or friend or family or blood or anybody.
I can only imagine Jennifer's face when she heard that.
She was like, "That's rude."
Yeah, I mean, I could see her.
That's just rude.
I could see her face in my head. I saw it when she was typing that.
That's just rude.
And it just shows to the entitlement. I demand respect.
The Church of Self.
It's Church of I. It's the Church of I. It's not self, because self means you're aware. The Church of I is statements that I am the ultimate.
Very good call.
I am the one. Self,
very good call.
Myself, Church of Myself, implies that you have a very good concept of who you really are. The Church of I, you don't know who you are. You just want to project an image.
I mean,
right,
that's going to lead into my point tonight.
But also for me, it's also the fact, like, I don't know how we would have done it back then if we'd have had the technology to communicate the way we do now when my kids were happening. Texting was just kind of barely a thing. But I guess posting it that way on social media is not
You're asking for a fight.
I'm not.
Do herself any favors.
No, not you. By posting.
Right. Not just that, but if I would think family would be spoken to within a separate circle from the rest of the world. Sure, I guess this, and I'm not asking to be like blown. But
I agree.
Back in the day, that would have been a conversation that would have been had and sat down. Okay. You would have gone over on a visit, and you were there and like, listen, there's some rules, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we'd like it to happen. And that would have been a parent's visit, okay? So you know that. That's how we did all of that shit. So, but I guess doing it that way, it's completely impersonal, and also, again, just kind of the wrong way to deliver that message, I feel, to family.
Well,
now, I don't know if the girl has something going on in her family that was more directed to. I'm not sure who she's worried about just showing the fuck up. That it has to be that angry of a delivery.
We've all got that one person that shows up without so much as a knock on the door. I mean, they just bust through.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well,
it's the
way Jeremy used to come in the apartment.
Yeah, but I always knew 40 minutes ahead of time he was coming.
No, I know that. But it's kind of the same thing. You knew he was coming. You knew when something big went down, he was coming.
But every one of us has that relative that just shows up, blank stare, out of nowhere, right through the door. Hey, I was in the neighborhood. I thought I'd come by. Well, a phone call might have been nice. A smoke signal, honk of the horn. I'm not ready for this. My house isn't clean. My ass isn't washed.
Right.
You don't just show up.
My left big toe's got cheese in it. I can't do it. Whatever your excuse is.
I will stand behind number one as long as the day is. I don't care about the approach. The right thing to do, and this person is right, call ahead.
Well, always. I'm not stipulating any of the sentiment.
The rest of it, there's a satchel of Richards in the corner. Hopefully you ingest each and every one of them slow and slathered in Mike's hot honey.
Ooh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good on everything.
At the end of the day, look, everybody, it's a mutual. I always like to say the people I encapsulate my life with, I call it a mutual respect society. Lynch isn't going to show up at my door unannounced. If Herm calls in the middle of the night or Lynch calls
if he does, it's a goddamn fucking emergency, and you already know it by the fact that he showed the fuck up without calling. He just showed up. It's 2:00 in the morning, and Lynch is at my front door. Something is obviously very fucking wrong. What is up, dude?
You
know what I mean? Right. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's 2 a.m, and Lynch showed up for no reason. That's when that would happen.
Semen and edibles. Something
right. And something went down. Something horrible went very wrong.
Don't ask any questions.
I won't. I won't.
We're grab the shovel and a bag of lime.
That's right. It's just I'm here, buddy. I'm here. It's obviously gone sideways.
The only place I have ever shown up unannounced, and I can say this, it was Derek's house. I was driving by. I was doing a delivery in that area of the woods, and I saw that he and his kids were outside. Yep. And as I drove back, I slowed down a little bit. He and the kids were outside. The kids have already seen the truck because now they're waiting for the truck to come back. And they know when they see the big white Ace truck, that means Chris is inside. And I pulled in and got my hugs and said hello, and I went about my merry fucking business. But you don't just show up at like 7 o'clock at night carrying a fucking coffee cake going, I was in the neighborhood. No. We make plans. As adult human beings, you make plans. So I stand behind young person, woman who is carrying a baby, meaning she is a woman. I stand behind number one. Number two and number three, you got some real issues that you need to address, young woman. And I don't know that there's a therapist on earth that can save you. Derek says, I like when people just show up. Well, you are a sick human being based on your occupation, Derek the Undertaker.
My opinion on that whole thing
Reason number 73, to not have sex with people where you work.
Oh dear, here we go.
Because you're alone in a mortuary.
Because you're alone. Because you work alone at the morgue.
And okay, put up the second comment. His son heard me and said, "What is a woman?"
Yeah.
Good job, Sip.
So anyway, at best, that entire thing should have been a private message to a group. Hey, look, guys.
To start with, and then if she wants to make it public to the rest of her friends, that's fine.
Yeah, or the friends. Yeah, I mean,
because
again, I'm fine with
audience.
I know what she's trying to say. I'm just not really appreciative of the way she said it on some of that stuff. That's, I guess, is what it amounts to.
And there's always that one person who is like that in your life. I mean, I have friends that are like that. They say their intentions are pure, but their delivery just
well,
sucks.
they say they are, but are you if there were, and I don't know what the situation is, but if there were plans of some sort of family integration, involvement over time at places and spaces, like, wouldn't you want to make sure you don't offend anybody? Because, like, you know, it's bad it might be bad.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, like you said.
So am I wrong because
in her head?
No, I don't, and I don't know that, and I've said that. I'm just kind of telling how I feel. I don't know how she feels. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's angry.
Apparently,
I think she's a little angry.
Can you count on one hand how many people you've pissed off in the last month?
No.
Who, me?
Because it takes 10 hands.
10 hands. You've never been opposed to pissing someone off.
Me? No.
Neither of you.
No, but
it takes a little longer.
I mean, I'm usually right, but usually I start out rather respectful and nice.
I make a game.
And then once you're in the fold, then it's roast fest. But you know, I start out relatively nice.
Right.
And you know, so somebody comes over to the house the first time, I'm a member of society. I'm here. You know, I pay my taxes. I pay my taxes and shit. I'm a contributing member. Let's go. Yeah.
My whole thing with the whole thing is you don't demand anybody's respect, or you don't demand anybody's fealty, because you will lose. And I don't care, you know, if it's this new young lady who we've been talking about or anyone else. I don't care what I've done for you. I don't care what you've done for me. The minute you come at me sideways and treat me like a shitbag, you're getting it twice in return.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, she didn't make a great impression on anybody in his hemisphere.
No,
because I'm friends with Trav on Facebook. I saw that post as Mike was sending it. I mean, I was like, what the fuck is this? You know, it's not my battle to fight, but I felt bad for Mike and Jennifer, definitely.
As did I. I felt bad for everybody involved, and it was
well,
the one
you know,
time,
not
it was the one
go ahead.
time it was the one time I may or may not have willingly. I don't think it was willingly. In my head, I'm like, you don't want to start a war. You don't want to start a war. Don't want to start a war. I purposefully turned off the Facebook, put the phone down, walked away from it. I was not willing. This was a war I didn't want to fight, because it's not my war to fight. This is, if anybody's, Michael and Jennifer's, his mother and stepfather's, anybody else. I look, I'm as family as anybody, but that didn't come from Trav's mouth. So for me, hands up. I'm not going to start a war.
I'm out.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, and that was the other thing is that the way it was posted, it was said basically. It might as well have been said to anybody who reads it, and everybody knows that family follows Trav, so it means it was almost, she might as well have stood there and said it that way to his mom. Now, his mother and I don't always get along. We haven't always get along. We're respectful and cordial, okay? but I think he was raised better than to allow somebody to speak to his mom that way.
Yeah, and that was the other person I thought of as well. It's like, ooh, oh,
That's kind of fucked up to
is,
say to somebody you don't even know. And I don't know if you know his mom or not, but he knows his mom, and that's kind of fucked up way to get it. She kind of did the whole blanket friend, family, who you are, but that included everybody on the list, and that's your mom.
I
man.
know.
That's your mom.
I know his mom is like 150% invested in this because she's excited, and she's like chomping at the bit. I know. I can just tell from her Facebook posts. I'm friends with her on Facebook as well. I mean, the excitement's there, and that was the third person I thought of when I saw that. I was like, oh man, she must not be. Ooh, that's ugly. That isn't going to sit well 10 years from now.
No, it's not.
It's not going to age well.
No, and for what it's worth, young lady, if you happen to ever see this, we really don't give a fuck about how hurt you're going to be by hearing this, because you've hurt everybody else in doing what you've done. So congratulations here on June 13th in the year of our Lord 2023.
You got your own personal Juneteenth day.
You, ma'am, are the asshole of the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Herm, hit the button. Sometime this week.
Maybe I'm an asshole too. Just like you.
I'm gonna take this one for 5 minutes because I know Lynch has his questions. I want to make this real quick. We can cover this at length next week.
I'm sure it'll be there.
Whether or not you read the indictment, like I have, whether or not you've read the phone records, on a scale of 1 to Ted Kaczynski, how fucked is Donald Trump?
It's not good, bro.
It's not.
It's not good at all.
I mean, it's 37 separate indictments.
It's 37 separate felony indictments.
Well, it's one indictment, 37 counts.
Yeah.
Let's get that right.
Well, yes. It's 37 separate felonies on the indictment.
Correct.
And all it takes is 1 or 2.
Yeah, you only got to peg them on 1 or 2. You
get
them on. It's a federal fucking indictment. Oh my god.
And Herb, you said it best. This isn't like the New York thing. This isn't blow over.
This is the United States Department of Justice.
This is the DOJ. And then now you got all these other
fuck?
You got all these people jumping out. Well, what is it going to happen to Biden and Hillary?
Why shouldn't they ask that question?
Yeah, but
they can't
ask it. It's just they know the realism of it. It's not going to happen.
The answer comes down to
the answer is Derek. I'm not going to die. These guys fell off.
No, the answer comes down to, when asked. I'm not full on the Hillary, but when Joe was asked, he told him to come in. I don't know. I don't think I have anything, but come in and.
What the fuck? Oh, that was weird.
Well,
smooth jazz.
When they went in, Joe told him, "Come on in." I totally could. They went in through, searched everything. They listened to everything in tapes, and they found nothing. They took what they needed back, and that's it. Okay, it's the difference between the guy who shows up with the middle finger on his t-shirt and his jeans and his boots in the court and not shaven and looking dirty like a criminal, and the criminal that walks in nice shoes and a pair of slacks. He's in there and he presented the best available concept of himself, and that goes a long way with the law department. And the problem is that Trump don't answer to nobody. He waits for nobody. Trump does what he wants. And now it's going to bite him in the ass because they got him on tape saying he don't give a fuck.
It's the church of I.
Yeah, again.
It is. It's same church, just the red pews.
Yeah. Here's the thing where I have a problem, and it goes to his just cavalier attitude. What Joe Biden did, what Hillary Clinton did, and a bunch of people before them, yes, were sideways. Hillary Clinton gave back the hard drive, but she had already sent out the documents to, strangely enough, Anthony Weiner. But regardless, when asked, gave it back. Trump played the role of, well, I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I had the right to do that. I'm allowed. I'm the president. I could do whatever I want. Dude, you're not Tony fucking Soprano.
The impeachments were a witch hunt. This is real.
I
And
don't-
when I say
I-
this is real, I mean this. When you get a federal judge, not only a federal judge, remember this part, a Trump appointee to the Department of Justice who signed the indictment, you are fucked.
Well, and that's the problem. He
Like
thought,
that's
my buddy. That's my buddy. He'll take care of me. Sorry.
I'm
When
doing
it comes
my
to
job. I'm
when
doing
it
my
comes to
job.
the federal
That's what
government.
you do.
Once again, the federal Department of Justice doesn't give a fuck who you are. They only care if you did it and if they can prove it.
Mm-hmm. And again, with 37 counts, if they even get him on 3, he's
They get
done.
him on 2, he's done.
This
Even on
isn't
one.
like this isn't
One-
like being
one is
buddies
gonna-
with a
Right, right. Well, that's the thing, and the DOJ is not going to care. Oh, we don't care that you have to campaign. You need to show up to court, sir.
Yep, and he
This
was
isn't
in
like knowing
Miami
your
today.
buddy down at this corner deli. Hey, can you?
Or
Can you,
some-
can you?
Yeah,
can you
your
flip
buddy
me a
in the
ham
construction
sandwich?
business. This
Yeah,
ain't your
can
buddy
you,
in the
can you dig
construction
my swimming
business,
pool,
bro.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. Can you float me? Can you float me a week? I'll pay you back in 2 weeks. No, sorry, this ain't that kind of favor. There is
No.
no favor when it comes to the Department of Justice.
They found stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of boxes of shit that shouldn't have been at his house.
And
There
when
was
they
an
asked
entire bathroom full of boxes.
if
You
you'd
just
have
wanted to
done
build a
it,
fort.
yeah, it should have been a hell of a. It would have been the biggest fort. That would have been the best.
It would have
fort.
been the best fort.
Best fort
They would have
ever.
had all the papers.
All
If
the
you'd have
papers.
returned this shit when they asked you the first time.
Because they already went down and said, "Hey, you sure?" So they went
Well,
down.
They tried once. Hey, you want to send us this shit back? No, I want these. These are my things. I like things. Okay, we're gonna ask you a second time.
I
the
like
third
shiny
time,
things.
They didn't ask a third time.
They
They
didn't
just
ask a
showed the
third
fuck
time.
up.
and
They
then
just showed the fuck up with a warrant.
when
A federal warrant.
when the text messages came out, they knew there were more that he did not divulge. If you read the indictment, there was more. Yeah, this dude is fucked 6 ways to Sunday.
Well, you know what? Let's see. How
Right.
the
In other
justice-
words, they
this justice
only
system-
they only got him on 37.
Right? Go ahead, Lynch. What were you saying?
Let's see how the justice is metered out on this. I don't see any way he can not take a bullet on this.
Oh, absolutely.
And as you well know, I was not a Trump supporter. And
No,
I
at the
wasn't a
very
huge
least, she's
Trump
got to
fan.
Martha Stewart it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very, very strong possibility that Donald Trump may spend the rest of his life in a federal prison somewhere. Not
And
federal
someone-
prison; it would be a country club.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
he'd go.
Well, just given his age,
But
it's possible.
He's going to live out the rest of his natural days, potentially, behind bars.
Yep.
Yes,
playing
because-
pinochle with Agnes.
And for what it's worth, thank
And
you
Anthony.
for opening the door to the next president of the United States, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis.
Now, see,
Well, now there's now. See,
I think
all
Trump's
these-
dumb. I think Trump's dumb for wanting to be president. I think the perfect ticket is run for the Republicans is Ron DeSantis as president and Trump as vice.
Ooh.
That would make more sense. That would have made
Here's-
more sense.
And hold on, here's why. Because what's the vice president's job? Who does he
Nothing.
Who does he preside
Nothing.
over? Who does he preside over? The Senate.
The Senate.
He presides over the Democratic Senate, right? Right. So he gets to stand up there all fucking day and hurl Trumpisms at these assholes because he runs the meeting.
So what you're saying is he could get up there and just wave his dick.
Say whatever the fucking wave his dick all he wants to and stay the fuck out of the real news. You'd only be able to watch him like entertainmently wise on C-SPAN and C-SPAN 2.
and YouTube the following day.
Right. And on The View,
He can
every
say whatever
other
the
day.
fuck he wants, and it really doesn't mean nothing because he doesn't really control anything. He just presides over the meeting.
Wow. Well, now that
So
we've
you can
gotten
give him
that,
a spot and shut him the fuck up, and he can't really fuck up what anything that Ron is trying to do.
we'll follow up with this every week until either he beats the charges or he gets charged federally.
Yeah,
and
we're going to have an outcome one way or the other.
absolutely. And whether it's you are free to go or you, sir, may F off, we're going to get something.
Yeah, it's ought to prove interesting.
Well, speaking of interesting, you've got something you wanted to bring up.
Yes.
Can't wait to hear
All right.
this.
What are we talking about, buddy? What's
All right,
going on?
so I found something on social media.
Just
Facebook.
one thing?
Yeah, really.
Just one thing?
One thing that jumped out.
Holy shit.
So it's one thing and it's big. No, I found something on social media through somebody I know about a conversation he overheard with, let's say, people of an older time frame.
Boomers, and I'm not saying this.
Basically.
I say
No,
boomers as
basically
in my parents were boomers, but you know,
basically boomers.
Well, you know, my father was pretty progressive.
And that's exactly how the word is used, young people. A boomer is not just somebody who doesn't
He was
agree
actually
with
born
you.
in 1947. Like,
Yeah, he's a
and my
baby
mom
boomer.
was actually born as we were going into war in 41. So
Correct.
they are true. They truly are boomers because that's the perfect time. They're like
what we do.
Sweet
It's
spot.
what we do. We educate.
So
anyway, let's go ahead.
This guy overheard these two boomers having a conversation about gender and how there are only two genders. And then
Correct.
He goes on to pontificate about how ancient and archaic that sounds, how tone deaf it is, and that there's unlimited number of genders. And then another friend who's a scientist, keep this in mind, he's a scientist, basically agreeing with exactly what he said. And said the number of genders is limitless and unbounding.
What?
So, listen.
Whoa,
Listen.
whoa! Wait a second. Whoa.
Let me finish. Whoa. So,
whoa.
All I said was, "What's the number?"
Back. I'll make you humble.
I asked, "Well, then, what's the number?"
It's infinity.
Well, then I immediately get jumped on about being a fucking bigot. I'm a transphobe.
You're not
I'm
afraid
this,
of
that-
trans people.
I'm this, that, and the third.
No, I'm
So
not
I start-
scared. They're all
I start-
sissies.
I start defending myself. I said,
God.
Yeah. I start to defend myself. And I say to the one scientist, I said, I'm very surprised that you have this, you feel this way because you deal with facts and truth. And I'm all about facts and truth. And it just surprises me that a person with a scientific mind, that's what you deal with.
Right, like what are the just real quick, throwing it out there, scientifically, what does science believe are all of the genders? They believe there's two, right?
Yeah, as far as I knew, that's what science was leading. But now,
Now I don't know
but
what kind of science is this guy into.
Aerospace.
Okay.
Yeah, but still,
everything's possible in space.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
but so then I start defending myself, saying, "What's the number?" And I get jumped on. I was like, "Well,
Yeah,
what
how
was
many
that?
how many genders are there, bro? What's
I'm
the
asking
number?
you a question. Can someone answer it for me?
Nope.
Mm-mm. No, they can't.
Give
They can
me.
never
I
back
said,
their shit up.
I say, give me a number. Well, it's however they identify as. I said, okay, so there are only two genders and multiple identities. If you make the proclamation that I identify as a spider, spider is not your gender. That is who you choose to identify as. That's your persona. And then they're like, well, these are semantics. That's a false equivalency.
No, it's not.
No, it's
not
not.
a false equivalency. It's
I
two
said-
separate things.
I said,
it's
look-
peanut butter. It's chocolate.
I said, let's break down the word gender. What does gender mean? It is the assignment of sex at birth. That is your gender. When you
See, I don't
say
even
the
like
word,
the word. I don't even like the word assignment.
No, because
It's
nothing was
it's
assigned to you. It was observed.
it's just your sex at birth.
the current definition of gender is
They're
assignment.
wrong. It's wrong.
I know they're wrong. You and I, anybody who has a firm grasp of the English language, which I
I have a
happen to
penis,
have,
and it's wrong. Not my penis. My penis is right all the time.
it's right. They call him Moby Dick.
That's right.
You look at today's definition of gender. I said identity is who you feel that you are. Just because you feel like a woman doesn't make you a woman. Just like because you feel like a man doesn't make you a man. You cannot argue biology and science. And then here comes the whores marching with their fucking torches, and I'm like,
How come nobody's picking on any of the romance languages?
Because they're all gender specific. And
Very specific.
I was going down that road.
Certain words are feminine and certain words are masculine. So how do you not? How does that? How do you they every word in a language that's
I tried asking that question. You can't
it's
get
male
an
or
answer.
female. It's one or the other.
You cannot get an answer because they don't understand. They don't understand what they're saying. They don't understand when they say, "Well, I'm non-binary. I'm a non-binary lesbian." No, you're wrong twice.
Right,
non-binary.
right. You're
non-binary
wrong.
Means you're stupid twice.
Right,
Non-binary means you don't associate with either.
And right, it means you're a third.
You're a third. You're a third.
Third
These
option.
two are known. These two are known. You're the unknown
something
option.
Different.
And then you jump in and say you're a lesbian. That's that.
Right. In order to say you're a lesbian, you would have to know that you're a female.
Right.
Do you guys have your phones next to you?
I do.
I do this with people all the time when they say, "Oh, well, our language and this and that." I'm like, "Well, all these other languages," much like Lynch's argument.
What'd you do? Google gender?
No, I want you to type in your Google bar. How do you say non-binary in Spanish? And get back to me. I'll wait here. I'll cue the Jeopardy music. I'll fill time because I can't wait to hear how we get around this. Not we, the three of us, but we, the woke jokes of America. Because we are really the only country and the only language.
No binario.
And what's the one?
No binaria.
See?
What?
So it's gender specific.
Yeah,
no binario and no
binario, which is technically a masculine word.
And then underneath that is done no binaria.
Yes, it is.
Which is a female association. So
I don't see that. I just see that.
I'm gonna say it for the people sitting way in the back one last time. Virtue
signal
be damned.
Yeah, it is. You're right. So how do you get by that? You can't. You've got it both ways.
Gender at birth. You're born with a penis. You're a male. You're born with a vagina. You are a female. This is millions of years of biology. Now you can stick to whatever newfangled, new age horse shit you want. I don't care how you live your life. If Herm tells me tomorrow I feel like I want to live the rest of my life as a chick and I'm going to call myself Ethel, then Ethel, that's the way it is. You came at me with respect. I'm coming at you with respect. If Lynch decides tomorrow he wants to shave off his beard and live as something other than the Unabomber, I will give him all the respect in the world the same way he gave it to me. The first time you come at me and you demand my respect for anything, you, sir or ma'am, and there are only two, may fuck off.
Right, but how come there's always and for them it's the fucking thing flying in my mic. It's always us. We're always wrong. We don't accept. But you guys are. I'm gonna put this out there in the universe. Just some good shit. See, when we was growing up, nobody gave a fuck. You remember when Clinton tried the whole "Don't Ask, Don't Tell"?
Yep.
Yeah.
And because nobody really gave shit. You know what I mean? Okay. Nobody really cared about it, and you do your thing and don't ask, don't tell. That was it. But see, the problem is that they weren't happy with that. They had to tell. They had to open up the door, and they had to open up the conversation. We were perfectly good not arguing about it, and you doing your thing, and not having to deal with it, and not having to be forced to believe what you believe.
Are you talking about live and let live and
yeah, yeah.
allowing people to be who they are?
Pretty much. But see, the reason is that we're talking about it now is because you had to talk about it. All right. Nobody else gave a shit, but you've drilled at us so long, and now we're so wrong. Now we care about it.
Well, I'm getting really tired of having a discussion with somebody, and the minute I don't agree with them, I'm something. I'm an ist.
I'm some ist.
I'm something. No, it's called having an opinion, an objective opinion, an opinion that can be proven.
Oh, you mean
I don't attest to this wizardry of I can wake up and be whatever the hell I want. Piers Morgan does it all the time on his show. So I identify as a black lesbian. Well, that's preposterous. You just told me. Because you just told me you can be anything I want. I want to be a black lesbian. Well, you're being silly. No, I'm not being silly.
No,
I'm using your argument right in your face.
I'm doing what you're doing.
But why does that make
the way that others are doing it to an extreme?
Why does that make me a bigot? Why does that make me a transphobe?
But doesn't that also in reverse make them a big bigot because they only believe their way and not in mine? So they're just a bigot too.
That's
because
my point.
People think that bigot has something to do with racism. Racism is just holding on. Racism is something to do with race. Bigotry is believing in only one point of view.
Well, let's take
and not listening to the other side.
I'm willing to have the conversation about the other side.
Well, it's like the same people that will pick on organized religion. It's the same people that pick on organized religion and think they're funny as shit. But the minute you point out to them that religious bigotry is still bigotry, they get all hot and bothered. And then you're the bigot. I
don't agree with organized religion for most of them. I love the Jews. I'm not going to lie. I've said this before. I think they kind of got the organized religion thing kind of solid. But if you want to believe that, you can believe that. I don't think you're any less. It gives us opposing viewpoints on things. But
I'm not going to start a war over it.
No, no, that would be the Catholic Church. Sorry. I'm sorry. I had to slip it in.
I'm not going to commit violence against a female athlete just for trying to go to a locker room.
No, but I'm not going to support it either. I'm not
going to commit violence or threat of violence against somebody because they want to speak their mind.
Right, like I'm not
Michael Knowles.
You want to go to church? That's fine. Just don't tell me.
No, I saw one of the a YouTube short Ben Shapiro at whatever university this was a couple of years ago, where they had the police there, and he asked the cop, "So you're telling me I am unallowed to speak and on my protected First Amendment right to speak at this campus? If I go in there, I'm getting arrested.
As an invited guest."
As an invited guest, and the cop said yes.
Right.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Because it was a private university, unfortunately.
But still.
But that's the thing we've all been fighting for, Lynch, is that, we're putting feelings in front of facts and laws, and words are violence. No, words are violence if I say I'm going to beat you in the face with a brick, fuck your ass, and make you humble.
Words can make you think and incite violence.
Correct, but
by saying and then make that happen
by somebody saying, I don't believe in transgenderism. I believe in biology, but that's not hate speech. It's simply speech that you hate. It's not violence, and silence isn't violence either. Silence is violence if you're watching a spouse beat up their other spouse, be they male, female, whatever the fuck. Your silence is violence. But
that's complacency. I was going to say that's being complicit. That's
right. But by me not standing up and waving a fucking rainbow flag and cheering on Pride Month, a buddy of mine at work had a question. He goes, "Chris, I know you're into talking about this stuff. When's my Pride Month?" I'm like, "Well,
for the love of Christ."
Here we go. Derek had to bring up words.
They can only do harm.
Is why we can't have
nice
things.
Oh.
But I'm just tired of having. I'm tired of having to have a conversation, an actual intelligent conversation with two people that I have some respect for, and it devolves into I'm getting ganged up on. I'm trying to hear out their side of the story, but all it is yelling. There's no points. There's no it doesn't make any sense. They're not
Or
saying
it's
anything
deflection.
that makes
A lot of it's deflection too.
because this goes into why I said
Yeah, well,
earlier.
like
It's the church of I,
you can't.
and
Well, you
what
can't
I
ask
say
that.
goes.
Well, you can't ask that.
It's
What do
the
you mean
church
I
of
can't
I,
ask
and what I say is the truth. What I say is the way. Well, I'm sorry, that's not how the world works.
That's the way of the Sith.
Yeah, exactly. The Sith are selfish.
I have a friend.
I'm selfless.
That's
I'd
the way.
I'd rather give something to somebody that I have no use for than to fight for an object I don't give a shit.
Agreed. Lynch, back in the day, the first couple times you ever asked me to watch your house, you paid me.
Yeah.
What did I tell you after those first 2 times? I said, don't pay me. I'm staying here. I'm utilizing your utilities. You know, you ask, do you want beer in the fridge? You know, do you want a particular, kind of food? I'm like, just leave me beer in the fridge and go enjoy your vacation for the next 7 days.
Yep.
I'll do that. I do that for anybody. I just did it for Mark not too long ago. I've done it for Zach. I've done it for a lot of people. Now, not that we're a stranger to controversy. I got sentimental the other night and sent out a message to someone that I am kind of in a pickle with right now. Love this person to death. They're one of my best friends of all time. Yet to hear anything back. And that's not on me. Being the bigger man sometimes means standing down. And in this situation that you're talking about with your friend who is an astrophysicist, whatever the fuck, who wants to argue gender, if you want to tell me how a rocket works, I'll sit down and listen. If you're trying to tell me how a dick works, you better go get your biology degree. Sometimes it's better to stand down and not fight.
It's not even that, Chris. It's just I was amazed at the people who were chiming in, who I thought I kind of knew their mindset. When years ago, dick and fart jokes and making fun of people was funny.
It still is.
But now,
you also have to remember that given that guy's science aptitude, none of the biology affects his data. You see what I mean? So I can understand where he could totally work that and still be a scientist. He's more of a scientist with like air and wind and shit, and it doesn't have any effect on his science beliefs for work. He can totally believe that whatever non-science bullshit he wants.
Understood, but for a man who,
you know what I mean?
But
Like
for somebody who deals in facts and data all day long, that are unrefutable data, it's surprising. Maybe I think you're right. I think maybe I took
but that's
a little
but
too
that's
personal,
like
not personal, but-
aerospace. Like people are fluid and different. And everyone's a special flower.
We've had this conversation before, gentlemen. Words have meanings. So some of the dumbest words that have no meaning anymore, even though they should carry weight, is phobia, has been bastardized. Racist has been bastardized. Bigot has been bastardized to the point where Lynch was speaking the truth from what I can understand in these conversations. And here come the ists, the phobes, the bigot, the this, the that. You know why? Because the person on the other end is not intelligent enough.
Aren't they the phobes? Aren't they the one that are truly afraid of how it really works?
Yes, and the problem is on the other end of that conversation,
they're the ones that are afraid to accept reality and deal with just reality.
Exactly. On the other end of that conversation, you had someone, much like you said and much like Herm said, just saying, well, I said it, therefore it is. Well, no, it's not. Go fuck yourself.
Well, that's where I use that church of I. I am always right. I am my word is the word. You're not God. You're apparently not that intelligent, because that's not how shit works. When I say the church of self, and I said it earlier, it means you have a very, very firm grasp of who you are and where your place is in the world, and you listen to both sides. And here's the part that's the kicker. You don't have a say because you don't have children. What does that have to do with anything?
No, you don't have a say in how someone else raises their children.
I don't
you can
have
a
a
say
you
about
don't you don't
children
have
all
you
day
don't,
long.
No.
No, I know they'll say that. Well,
This is what-
it's the
this
same
is-
women. There's the same women that say that you don't have a uterus, so you don't get to have a say.
So this is what
They don't
said.
care if you support them or not. You don't want to have a say.
Hi,
This
Oni.
This is what they said. You don't have the unique experience of raising a child and guiding them through that difficult time in their life. I said, I guided myself through that difficult time in my life. When I was 5 years old, did I put makeup on and wear dresses and act like a chick? Absolutely. We're children. We play. We explore. We do stupid stuff. How in the fuck can you tell me, as a human being, because I don't have a child and I've never raised a child, that I don't have a say in what this whole
None of your
thing
experiences are valid.
Yep.
Exactly.
Try telling that to the anti-gun lobbyists. If you don't have a gun, so you don't have a say. Watch their heads explode.
How do my personal experiences not matter? How do my interactions with nieces and nephews and goddaughters and godsons, how is that not valid? That's what kicked me in the balls. I haven't had children, so I don't understand. Okay, you're correct. I've never had a child. I've never raised a child. But I've had a pretty good hand in it in several children's lives throughout the course of their lifetime into their mid-20s now. And I've given them advice when they've asked for it. I never give unsolicited advice. And I've given some pretty solid advice. And usually I tell them, you need to think about exactly what you're asking, and you need to think it through. You need to take what you believe and how you feel about a situation and look at the end result. If it gets you to the end result that you desire, you go this way. If you don't want to go that way, find somewhere else. Find another way to do it. Conquer every mountain. Climb every hill. You'll figure it out. I mean, I've had children in my life that have come out as trans. Not just one, a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're the affect.
So maybe it's not me.
Maybe it is you.
I'm not the bigot or the phobe.
I know.
I'm accepting of everyone to a point. And that point is when you're telling me I'm wrong because I don't agree or I don't understand. Not agree, I don't understand. And
I do understand, I just don't agree.
Well then use language and terms and facts to make me understand. They can't do it. It's just because. Well, it's just how I feel. And that's why I went into.
Fuck about how you feel.
That's what I went into. Where well then, if you say you identify as such, it's not a gender.
Hey, hats off to heterosexuality for keeping the human race going for 3 million fucking years.
Amen to us.
I said identifying as something is not assigning a gender. That's your persona and your personality. You can act like a squirrel all day long. You're a squirrel, okay? You're not. Your gender is not squirrel. When you go to get your driver's license, they're going to kind of look at you funny when you want to put an SQ for fucking squirrel in the box that says sex.
Is that an approved abbreviation? I don't even know.
It is now.
Well, it will be because they can make shit up as they go along now.
Yeah, you just change the rules mid-game. That's all they do.
But I can't identify as a black lesbian because that's ridiculous.
I say you do it.
What should my name be?
LaQuisha Johnson.
LaFonda.
I don't know. What's a squirrel-sounding name? Come on, if you're going to be a
Mr.
squirrel,
Cheeks.
let's go all the way. Yeah, Mr. Cheeks. There it is.
Mr. Cheeks, that's you now. You're Newton.
That's my
name. Your name is Senor Fernando Cheeks. You had 21 wins last year.
You are Fernando Valenzuela.
You had 21 wins.
But the real kick in the nuts was the whole thing with I haven't experienced raising a child and gotten to that point in a child's life that helped make that decision. That's not me. That's on the child.
Neither have I. Neither have I. But my kids keep
Well, here's
growing
the,
and doing well. So I'm
well,
still
here's
not
the
a
difference.
relevant. I'm still not a relevant parent.
Well, see, here's the difference, Mike. You raise your kids to think for themselves and not rely on a third party to influence them and influence their decision. That's the problem. Is that kids can't think for themselves. This whole generation behind us, they don't want to think for themselves. They would just want they want the desired outcome without the work.
Well, I got to be honest. Like, it's the whole thing of the people that are freaking out about the whole trans shows in schools and everything. Understood. Not appropriate. However, would I freak out? No. You know why? Because I'm that child's parent. I I know what my child believes and what my child thinks. It's my job to. It's my job to know that he's going to go home and tell me about that shit, and I'm going to be like, what do you think? And he's gonna be like, there it is. I didn't raise anybody. Look, the kid had an iron board. He wore a fucking wig. He walked around talking about his princess hair. But that kids is kids. We didn't just start going out and taking him to the dress section because he was having a little bit of pretend play, being a rock star. Like, come on. Kids have faces, man. And if you give in to them, then they just keep going.
I'm sitting back thinking about where we're going to be in 10 years. Are we
When you make a big deal out of it, that's the positive reinforcement. That positive reinforcement works. It doesn't matter. They're like a dog, man.
Yeah.
Positive reinforcement works for anything. So if you're going to reinforce them doing the thing, yeah. Did we acknowledge that he had his hair on? Yo, you got your hair on, huh? You got your big hair? Did we acknowledge it? Yep. And that was where it went. It kept on about the day.
So where do you see this in 10 years, guys? I mean, are we still going to be having a conversation? Or
no, I think this. I think this is the next. I think this is the revolution. Everybody doesn't see this coming, but I think this is the revolution.
Oh, I don't disagree.
I think this is where the Civil War happens. I think you can say anything you want to politically, and everybody's just going to get mad. But I think this topic, I think people are just going to start smoking motherfuckers. I think it's going to get that bad. Because we're starting to see trans people lose their shit and smoke motherfuckers. And people are just going to start smoking them motherfuckers back.
But they're a very tolerant group.
No, they're not. They're literally they're just a Nazi in their own form.
No, they're very
But they call everybody else.
Oh, I'm not going to argue with you. You say whatever you want. I'm locked and loaded.
I'm fucking with you.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm not even going to waste time with that. I'm ready.
I got options. I got two options here, right over there.
I'm not even going to go that route. These sissy boys and sissy girls want to come to me. I got 10 for you, 5 and 5, and I am not shy.
I'm just tired of trying to have discussion with people. Not necessarily.
Yeah,
about
I'm not the one who's tolerant. But wait, you're the one that won't accept anything I say, and I'm only allowed to agree with what you say. That's not how tolerance works.
So I work in a place where it's predominantly women and they're younger.
Oh, you got woke Starbucks bitches, huh?
I keep my mouth shut.
Starbucks bitches.
I keep my mouth shut because if I even ask a simple question, it's going to be, you're a fucking bigot. Why would you ask that? Why would you say that?
Yes, I am.
Yep, I guess so.
I'm a science bigot.
Yeah, if you say I'm a bigot, okay, I'm a bigot. But closest thing a bigot is maybe Bigfoot. Come on, motherfuckers.
Nobody's gonna stand up that follows this ideology and actually have a civil conversation because they're not interested in hearing your opinion. They want to hear their opinion come out of your mouth.
I'm not a puppet.
That's what they want. That's exactly what they want.
I never have been, and I never will be. And I'm as accepting as the next person about people doing what they want to do in their own life. You want to dress up? You dress up. You want to bang fucking banshees in the bedroom? I don't give a fuck.
That sounds
nice.
You want to identify as a bear and eat your fucking wife's head off? Whatever. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Because the bottom line is it doesn't affect me. But I'm tired of the narrative and the conversation, no matter what conversation you try to have now about anything. Guys our age are wrong.
No, we're not.
Not really.
Well,
we didn't get this far along being wrong. Just saying.
The three of us know that. But I work in a world.
We know we did a lot. We know we were wrong and stupid when we was
truth.
young too.
Yeah, I should be dead 3 times over. But anyway, I work in a world. I work in a world where that's the truth for me. I don't like it. I just tolerate it. I have to. It's a paycheck. I say sideways things all the time that it just flies right over their fucking head because they're not really that intelligent. And they don't get it. They don't understand. And they don't get when I'm being sarcastic. I mean, I could pull a prank on any one of those motherfuckers tomorrow.
How many of them would cry?
Most. Because God forbid you have fun, and you can poke fun at each other and have a camaraderie. He's picking on me. He said something I don't understand, therefore he's picking on me.
You know what the problem is, and I'll say it now before we close, is that if you assume what I think, you're immediately wrong. If you assume what Lynch or Herm thinks, you're immediately wrong. The reason why we understand each other is because we ask questions, we talk, we cite facts. Do we bring our feelings in? Yes, we do. Do we put our feelings above facts? No, we do not. And why is that? Because at the end of the day, your precious little feelings don't pay the bills. Sorry to tell you.
This is very true.
So depending on how the rest of the week goes, hopefully no more death that's going to knock us on our ass.
Yeah, for real.
Hopefully we'll have some news on the Trump indictment. I know he's in Miami today. He turned himself in for the hearing before the judge. Sure, he'll be let out on his own recognizance.
Yeah, he was let out, and he was making his way somewhere, and he stopped somewhere, and then was moved on somewhere else. So we'll, I'm sure he'll be making an official.
And for those of you who do not know or do not watch, tomorrow night at 8:30, live on Facebook and YouTube, the Speedway Review. One of my co-hosts is going to be gone. The other one will pop in briefly. We'll still have Tori Calhoun.
Boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
And wait till you see who I'm bringing in. I got Big
Corey
Herm. Corey is going to a Red Sox game.
Oh, God bless him. Good for him.
Yeah, right? I mean, you could pick a better team, but, to each their own. I don't want to be a baseball bigot here, but, Fenway's a beautiful park. Their team sucks, but that's where I'll leave it. But we got Big Herm.
did you know that we do? But did you know that the Denver Nuggets arena is the ball arena?
Yes.
Like ball jars, but it's like, what do? We ball at the ball, baby. Let's go.
Let's go here. Ball, motherfucker.
So we got Big Herm, Michael P.S. Herman, who's going to be running things on the production side. Plus, Connecticut modified star Joey Ternullo will be joining us. I got to double confirm that, but he's ready to go. Tori will be, Tori will be there, and we're going to have some fun.
We'll be talking about Sonoma.
Yes, we will. And fact that I got text messages from Mike throughout the entire race about certain questions he had is going to open up some really good conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. So tune your narrow asses in and have a good time with us on the Speedway Review tomorrow night. But as for us here tonight, we're all hateful, bigot, racist, homophobe, transphobe.
Yes, we are.
We're just phobes.
But hey, have you guys been watching the Arnold documentary on Netflix?
No.
That's on my queue to start tonight.
It's actually really good, Mike.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Next on the list.
And I'm almost done with Fubar.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to that.
Another good show we found is based on a true story with Kaylee Kuko.
I can't wait to see that.
I'll check that out.
It's interesting. It's really interesting.
So, good night and God bless Iron Sheik, and go fuck yourself in hell, Ted Kaczynski.
We will see everybody. Oh yeah, Kaczynski's dead, isn't he?
Yeah,
The
fuck himself.
Kaczynski is Kaputsky.
Sleep soundly in your beds tonight. Judgment falls up on you at first night. I'm the hand of God. I'm the dark Messiah. I'm the vengeful blood. In the blackest moments of a dying world, what have you become?
The day a man gets pregnant, he's not going to need a doctor. He's going to need a fucking publicist.
Ooh, so much money.
Room service. This is Iron Sheik, room 432. I'd like to order 2 suitcases worth of cocaine and 1 hooker.